Cal Ripken Jr. played in 2,632 consecutive games. Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, hit safely in 56 straight games. Quarterback Brett Favre set an NFL mark, starting 321 consecutive games. And now another one for the books. Former Wolfpack baseball player Francis Combs has served as a spotter for 528 consecutive Wolfpack football games.
45 years spotting for NC State football games. It started 2 years after he and twin brother Freddie received football-baseball scholarships following graduation from Perquimans High in Hertford, North Carolina. Francis was a catcher for high school teammate and pitcher Jim Hunter. And during the summer of 1966, while attending State, he was invited by Kansas City and Hunter to work batting practice for the A's. BP led to traveling with the Major League team, but eventually spelled trouble with the governing body of college athletics.
At the end of the summer, Earl Edwards, who was the football coach at that time, called me in and said, "Have you been traveling with the Kansas City A's?" I said, "Well, yeah." She said, "Well, were they paying you?" I said, "Well, no, but I was traveling on their plane and staying with Catfish Hunter in his room." And they said, "Well, you may not be able to play any more college sports. We got to go to a meeting in Kansas City and see what happens." So they called me back in and said, "Well, you've been suspended for the football season. So you can't play any more football this year, but you just keep your scholarship and just play baseball the rest of the time."
12:55 to go in the second, 7-3 NC State, and the Pack has it on the doorstep looking for more. They'll go with two tight ends, I formation, Glennon under center. Glennon fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it, end zone, caught by Taylor Gentry, touchdown.
Francis hunkers down beside Wolfpack radio play-by-play announcer Gary Hahn, keeping track of tacklers for both teams.
Well, Francis is a very, very important part of our broadcast team. I try to watch the football during our play-by-play calls, but I can't watch everything. I mean, the field's too big, there are too many players, and so Francis's main duty is to spot the tacklers.
Hahn adds he isn't surprised Combs has pointed out information over those 45 years to former Wolfpack announcers like Wally Osley, Bill Jackson, Gary Dornberg, and for the past 22 years, the current voice of the Wolfpack.
No, because he's got a passion for it. And let me tell you something, most normal people that have to get into the press box need a credential. But Francis is special. He doesn't need a credential. He could get into the Super Bowl without a credential. I know that for a fact. I believe that deep in my heart. I know he could do it. Well, a couple of years ago, he was bus left at Clemson. He was trying to get an interview with a Clemson coach, and it ran long, and he was trying to get back up to the press box to give it to us. Well, we'd already gone off the air. We were back down on the bus, and they said, "Pull out." And I said, "Well, Francis isn't here." They said, "Well, we can't wait." Well, Francis goes back up to the booth. He sees our engineer, David Milan. He sees everybody's gone. He knows he's in trouble. And so he's able to find a South Carolina State policeman, and that guy took him to the airport. And Francis was there at the airport when we showed up. He beat us to the airport. I mean, that's the kind of life this guy lives. I mean, he's charmed.
They're always teasing me about, well, you can get in anywhere. You know, you've never bought a ticket to anything. You know, you always get in free, eat the free food and that sort of thing. But I have had a charmed life, and Frank Whedon, I got to give him credit. He kind of got me started in this. Freddie and I's dad died when we were 11 years old, and I came to State, and Frank was like a father to me, and I lived with Frank some, and he kind of got me started, you know, because I was not playing football. He said, "Well, this team needs a spotter," you know, so I started spotting, and for visiting teams and for the TV games, and then it worked into the Wolfpack Sports Network.
Combs' streak has involved a few close calls where he almost missed a game. One road contest you recall came when the Pack played at East Lansing.
Back in 1966, when I was kind of first getting started, I didn't want to miss a game. I'd already spotted some 65, 66, my brother, you know, I wanted to keep watching him play. So the game was at Michigan State. So I said, how am I going to get to Michigan State? So on a Thursday at lunchtime, I leave here in Raleigh, hitchhiking to Michigan State. So I caught a ride to Winston-Salem, got out, caught 2 or 3 rides. I think I walked halfway through Virginia, West Virginia, pitching rocks in the rivers and the ditches and this sort of thing. And on Friday afternoon, just as the team was coming off the field from working out, Freddie had already told the team that I was coming. I walked into the locker room, and they gave me a standing ovation. And Earl Edwards came up to me and said, well, since you hitchhike out here, we'll let you hitchhike a ride back with us on the plane. So I got to come back on the plane. But there was a lot of times, 15, 20 years, I just had to get there the best way I could.
And there have been times when Francis did not have the required credentials. So that meant some tall talk to gain admittance to the press box.
I've probably convinced a few people I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be, you know what I mean? So a lot of times if I didn't have a ticket, I convinced them I was supposed to have a ticket, you know, something happened. So anyway, I was always able to get where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there.
Francis has reached retirement age but still wants to continue spotting football games. And these days you can spot him officiating football, basketball, and baseball games at the high school and college level. For Inside Wolfpack Sports, I'm Don Shea.